All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is titled Get Rich Quick versus Get Rich Slow. So I want to start the video with I don't know if it's apocryphal or if it actually happened. I've seen it posted in various places, but it's this here, and it says, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos once asked Warren Buffett, "You're the second richest guy in the world. Your investment thesis is so simple. Why don't more people just copy you?" To which Buffett replied, "Because nobody wants to get rich slow." So I just found that a fascinating statement, because nobody wants to get rich slow. And I find the more and more I go into society, and I read certain books, I watch YouTube channels and videos, one of the things that I think distinguishes me right now is not just my CAGR, which is 29%, because obviously we're in a bull market, and that's going to come down, in the next market pullback. But because I have very much an old money or a get rich slow sensibility, you'll find a lot of people, with things like e-commerce or things like buying a lot of growth stocks or Cathie Wood style of investing, like innovation, change the world, tech, IPOs. For me, I'm more inclined to own a trailer park REIT, or like let's say a Casey's General Store. It just owns convenience stores in the Midwest. It sells pizza and other items at its convenience store. Or to own Canadian banks or Allstate, or just kind of boring, not things necessarily that are changing the world and not that are on the cusp of technology. And, Buffett has been chided about not investing in tech, and he would use the term circle of competence on that, and it's outside of a circle of competence, though they've kind of remedied that with their investment in Apple, of course. But I just find myself in that particular camp. And, it's an interesting thing here. Let me pull it up. That Americans spend over $1,000 a year on lottery tickets. And I would kind of take this headline and say, I think many Americans view the stock market and stock ticker symbols as lottery tickets. And so, again, I think that Americans generally, younger people, most people gravitate to high growth IPOs, to stock tickers as lottery tickets. I take an alternate approach. I mean, I'm in no rush to get rich. I'm quite rich right now. I'm certainly looking to get to increase my wealth, but I'm not in a rush to do so because I understand the power of compound interest. I did a video when Jeff Bezos gave the $100 million to the three different people. It was Jose Andres, Van Jones, and I can't remember the third one. But anyways, I just talked about, that I run a little over $1 million, and that basically in order to get to 100 million in 20 years, I need a 25.6 or 25.7% return, which is very high. It would, if I were to do that, I'm at 29 now, but if I were to do that, it would place me in the top 1% of investors. We'll see how that plays out over the next 20 years. But I just feel, I'm back to Buffett here. So we'll go back and pull up Mr. Warren Buffett. I feel for those of you watching this, particularly younger people, that patience isn't a virtue. Patience can be a competitive advantage, because you'll find people chasing things. You'll find people chasing, again, cryptocurrencies, IPOs, things that are, oh my God, I got to be a millionaire next year. Or, I made $1 million in the last 6 months, and all these kind of things. And I just think when you're patient, when you're committed to being an investor, when you're committed to things like dollar cost averaging, reinvesting your dividend. I know these things aren't sexy, they're not glamorous, but they work and they build wealth over time. And I think that I use the term a lot of times when I refer to Warren and Charlie at Berkshire. I term it the spirit of Omaha versus the spirit of Los Angeles. And so you could replace Los Angeles with New York, Miami, South Florida overall, Las Vegas. You'll find a lot of flash and ego and ostentatious displays of wealth, which is a very new money sensibility. It's very, I didn't have anything before, and I want everyone, I want my family, friends, strangers to know that I've made it. So there's kind of a sense of look at me with new money. Whereas old money has it and doesn't need anyone's necessarily approval or a sort of pat on the head or whatever way you want to describe that. So that's just an interesting, and I would even argue that Warren Buffett living in Omaha was for him a competitive advantage to living in New York and working in Manhattan, because the kind of keeping up with the Joneses sensibility that, oh, what is this person doing? The gossip, the chatter, the lifestyle, the fact that he, what is the restaurant? Gorat's maybe goes for his Coke and, a steak, just very like Midwestern sensibility, can really bode well. I wanted to actually mention this book here, and so you could argue that getting rich quick is a new money sensibility, and you could argue that getting rich slow or slowly, that sounds much better than getting rich slow, would be more of an old money sensibility. And there's a book that I read, a writer. I've enjoyed his books, and I'll try to remember to link it in the description here. His name is Byron Tully, and I think I came across his writing on the YouTube channel Alex, if I'm not mistaken, which I often watch their content. But his book here, it's the old money book, How to Live Better While Spending Less, Secrets of America's Upper Class, right here. And again, I'll try to link it. This is him. He very much looks, it's funny, he uses, I don't know if it's a pen name, Byron, but he very much has the open collar of Lord Byron. I believe it was the painter Thomas Phillips' portrait of Byron. So he very much has that sort of a 19th century pose there, if you will. And I just wanted to read this page, a little over a page, because I think it's very relevant to this discussion. And feel free, to comment, to sort of voice your opinion or subject, or opinion on the matter. And he says here, financial independence is the fifth core of old money. After all, you can't be old money without money. Saying that money does not buy happiness is missing the point. The truth is you have more options when you have money, and when you need money, there is rarely a substitute for it. When the general public thinks of wealthy people, they think of them living in big houses, driving expensive cars, and wearing fashionable clothes and flashy jewelry. So there you go. He's sort of referencing that new money sensibility, what I would term the spirit of Los Angeles, the spirit of New York, the spirit of Las Vegas, the spirit of Miami. He goes on, obviously, some wealthy individuals and families do maintain a high profile of conspicuous consumption and well-publicized socializing. Old money responds to such behavior: peacock today, feather duster tomorrow. That reminds me of the 3 generations shirt sleeve to shirt sleeve statement. The priority for old money is financial independence, not display. Let me say it again, because it's the core value that I hold. Even though my money is new, though I did attend the Haverford School, which is a very elite private school in the Northeast. My money is newer, but I very much have an old money worldview. I'm going to read that line again. The priority for old money is financial independence, not display. If you have to get up in the morning and go to a miserable job in order to pay for a big house, expensive car, and high-end wardrobe, what's the point? If you can get up each morning and do whatever you want to do that day and every day, that's quite a luxury. Financial independence makes it easier to discover what it is you really enjoy doing, both regarding a vocation and regarding hobbies and leisure. Financial independence is easier to maintain when you live simply and focus on doing and being more than spending and having. Beautifully written by, I should call him Lord Byron. I'm sure he would appreciate that. By Lord Byron Tully. How about that? Lord Byron Tully. It's oftentimes why I show my gardening videos. Not only do I love, I consider myself a gardener farmer, but I view that gardening as a luxury. It's a luxury that I have because I have time. Not many people have time. Some people have money. And it reminds me of a neighbor when I had my vineyard in North Carolina. She said a line that I've never forgotten. I've either had money or time in my life. I've never had both. And that resonated with me because I feel like I've attained both money and time. Some people, poor people, may have time, right? Because you're not working, or you just have this sense of like wanting to be independent, but you may not have the money to be independent. So it's just sort of like a fool's game. And then some people can have really high profile, high status jobs and be miserable or be enslaved to those positions. And if they lose those positions, they're done because their lifestyle is so high. So I very much resonate, even though, again, my money is new, with an older money worldview. Perhaps also I'm a humanities major, not in economics or an accounting or a business administration. I majored in English literature, as you can see with the reference to Lord Byron there. Minored in classical antiquity and art history. So very much coming from a humanities philosophy perspective versus more of a get rich, be successful mold. So anyways, that's pretty much it for today. Just wanted to do that, this little video on the idea of getting rich quick versus getting rich slow, and how I view getting rich quick is a new money sensibility. Getting rich slow is an old money sensibility. And then the final point is getting rich quick, I view as the spirit of Los Angeles. Getting rich slow, I view as the spirit of Omaha. So that's it for today, guys. Ciao.